In an article by Political Reporter Thando Maeko, the Freedom Front Plus has called on the African National Congress to recognize the Afrikaner-only community of Orania. The Freedom Front Plus argues that the re-election of Northern Cape Premier Zamani Saul opens a pathway for their request regarding Orania's status. Notably, the Freedom Front Plus voted alongside the ANC in the provincial legislature to secure Saul's re-election. Or to share insights about the Freedom Front Plus's stance on seeking constitutional recognition for Orania, let's bring in Carel Boshoff now, who's Deputy Chair of the Orania Representative Council. Carel, good morning to you. There is so much curiosity around Orania, and I think we touched on this during the ad break. Will you clarify for us who you are in the leadership, so what the leadership structure of Orania looks like? Because when I look up Carel Boshoff, a few of them come up, and I see there was a Carel Boshoff who founded Orania in the early 90s.
Yes, Naledi, thank you for the opportunity. My father co-founded, important to say, Orania in the early 90s, 91 already. And I, as his namesake, joined in later on as some of my siblings did. My brother Wynand, who is a member of parliament at the moment. I have a son and a grandson called Carel. My brothers have sons and grandsons by the name of Carel Boshoff. So it's a common name around here. And some of us are closely involved. Myself, at the moment, in this representative council of Orania, which was established after the issue of Orania's municipal status in 2000. At that stage, when municipalities, the small municipalities, were combined to form bigger municipalities, Orania argued that it is a special case and that it should be treated as a special case. And that was, in fact, the agreement that we reached with government at that stage, and which put a seal on the Representatives Council's work.
And with the Boshoff family as one of the founding families of Orania, is there a relation to Hendrik Verwoerd?
My mother was the daughter of Dr. Verwoerd, yes.
Okay, very interesting. Okay, and so, you know, there's of course the establishment of the community in the early 90s as South Africa was looking to move towards a democratic state. And now with this government of national unity, Orania is seeking to be constitutionally recognized, even though, and I need to clarify this, to be constitutionally recognized by the Republic of South Africa, even though you have your own flag and your own currency. So what does that mean?
Any social entity, a community, even a family, has a double need to have a double kind of strategy of functioning, which includes bridging and bonding. It needs to bond to the inside and it needs to bridge to the outside. Orania is exactly an example of that. And although for the past 30 years, all the journalistic attention has been to the bonding part, to the inside part of it, we have had a bridging strategy from day one. So that when this agreement came about, which we are about to reach at the moment, it's not something that falls from the clear blue sky. It's actually something that's been in preparation for the past 30 years, which includes something like Section 235 of the Constitution that was negotiated during the era after 94, recognizing the concept. And Orania is only an implementation of the concept that is already included in the Constitution, according to which we function.
Are you, so I mean, you're talking about bridging and Orania with the rest of the country, which is interesting, and I want to get into those details. How much of this is Orania slowly but surely moving towards a secession?
We are not in a position to contemplate that at the moment. And on the long run, that is a question, that's a dialectical question. That's a question of how South Africa functions, how it goes about with its minorities. You know, there's a concept of nation building that boils down to an invitation, which is actually not an invitation. It's telling you you must join this party, and either you fit in or you off. You know, that's the centralistic kind of constituting South Africa. South Africa could also be constituted on a federalist basis, which invites you to join, come as you are. And that, of course, is much more attractive, not only to Afrikaners, but to all minorities. Come as you are. Be who you are. There will be space for you. Once that kind of logic takes root in a society, not only South Africa, but worldwide, once that kind of logic takes root, it makes it possible for minorities to express themselves without the way of conflict. They don't need to take the road of conflict. They could take negotiating, self-expressive kind of attitude.
I need to get the clarity, though, of what self-determination means when you say you want to be constitutionally recognized. Now, sit with that. Constitutionally recognized, when it is our very own constitution that says, in fact, Section 9 of the Constitution prohibits against unfair discrimination against anyone on one or more grounds, including on the grounds of race, right? And one of the things about Orania is, I certainly could never live in Orania, no matter how well I learned how to speak Afrikaans. So why want a recognition from the Constitution if you're not even willing to live up to this very value of the Constitution?
It's important to note that Orania does not constitute itself on racial terms, and it does not understand itself on racial terms, but on cultural terms. And that Orania being white is nothing different from hundreds, in fact, thousands of local communities being black, exclusively, if you would like to call it that, which is, in fact, just a matter of people associating. Orania has no rule or no criteria that excludes somebody because of their race. So we are operating within the normal framework, and the people that joined us are the people that are interested. So I think we need to get past the point of just looking at the surface of it and see the operation of the freedom of association, in fact, in practice, within our society, because what happens in Orania is nothing else than exactly that right of association being executed.
Okay, there's so much for us to talk about in very little time. Elections took place in Orania, 376 votes going to the Freedom Front Plus, 59 to the Democratic Alliance, 34 to Hope for SA. Surprisingly, 1 vote in Orania going to the EFF. What did you think when you saw that?
Well, let me tell you this. When I was a member of the provincial legislature, something of the same kind happened. And the ANC said, Carel, you are in trouble because there were 4 votes for the ANC. And my answer was, colleagues, you are in trouble because there were 8 party representatives of the ANC at the election point. Those are the kinds of things that happen. It may be or it may not be an inhabitant of Orania. There's a total freedom of choice for people to express themselves. Maybe somebody tried to make a definite point. Maybe it was not even a person from Orania itself. But we welcome that kind of diversity.
Okay, and sorry, I need to squeeze a few more in here. Tomorrow the inauguration takes place, so will Orania be watching? When the country sings the national anthem, are people in Orania singing along with us?
I need to say with some reservation, definitely with some reservation, because up until now, South Africa has expressed itself in a very centralistic way, in a way that has really excluded our people from opportunities, from business, from this whole concept of transformation is a concept of excluding us. So you couldn't expect the kind of enthusiasm that one likes to see flaming up now and then at a meeting point like tomorrow. So we are not in resistance against that, but enthusiasm that really lacks for very good reasons within our community.
But within our national anthem, there's the Sotho part, the Zulu part, the Afrikaans part, the English part, and you can answer whether or not you'll just, in Orania, then just singing along to only one section of that national anthem tomorrow, as we elect leaders that were voted for, where elections took place even in Orania. But as you answer that, Zamani Saul, you're in support of Zamani Saul leading the Northern Cape.
We have had a long-standing relationship with Zamani, which does not mean that either he agrees with our policies or we with his, but we have a long and constructive relationship with him. We support his position in the Northern Cape, especially as that leads up to the normalization of Orania within the province as well as in the country.
Okay, and that last one, and this will be where I close it. Nkosi sigeleli Africa, God bless Africa. That's the first line of our national anthem. Then the Afrikaans part starts with Eti Bloof and also Yemo. Where do you start singing the national anthem?
Personally, when I sing it, I started from the start to the end, and we do pray to God to save and to bless Africa, because we are part of it. We are taking part of it, and we want to see the best Africa and the best South Africa, which would be a community of communities and not just a government with so many individuals under it.
All right. Well, we really do appreciate your time. Thank you so much for speaking to us. That was Carel Boshoff, the Deputy Chair of the Orania Representative Council, saying that they're in support of Zamani Saul being re-elected as Premier of the Northern Cape, and are happy that talks are taking place between the Freedom Front Plus and the ANC, asking, of course, the Freedom Front Plus asking for Orania to be constitutionally recognized.